Hello, a very good afternoon. I'm Uma Sudhir coming to you live from Hyderabad. I'm joined by my colleagues Sam Daniel from Chennai, Deepak Bopanna from Bengaluru and Ashwin Nandkumar from Thiruvananthapuram. Over the next half hour, we will be bringing you all the top news stories from the south of the country. First news from Andhra Pradesh. In the never-ending, action-packed political theatre of Andhra Pradesh, the latest controversy is actor and Hindupur MLA Balakrishna making certain very unsavory remarks about the former Chief Minister, referring to him as psycho. This is a controversy that has erupted between two big film personalities as well, Balakrishna on one side and Chiranjeevi on the other side. Both are big personalities in the film world. They belong to big film families as well as to prominent political families as well, because Balakrishna is not just Hindupur MLA, he is also the brother-in-law of Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, father-in-law of Nara Lokesh, and Chiranjeevi happens to be the brother of Pawan Kalyan, who is the Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister. So what happened in the assembly was that after a remark by Kamneni Srinivas, BJP MLA, that Chiranjeevi had intervened in order to bring attention to film industry problems in 2022 when Jagan Mohan Reddy was Chief Minister, Balakrishna got upset and said it is in fact not Chiranjeevi's intervention that had made it happen, undermining in a sense the role played by Chiranjeevi, and he called Jagan Mohan Reddy, the former Chief Minister, as a psycho, saying that I had also been invited to that particular meeting. He also raised objection to his name coming up ninth in that list of a film development corporation to raise or discuss issues related to the film industry. This has provoked reactions not just from the YSRCP but also from Chiranjeevi, who issued a statement saying that he had cordially met the former Chief Minister over lunch and had asked to discuss the issues of the film industry, and that 5 people were allowed initially, 10 people later because it was a COVID time, and he had even tried to contact Balakrishna, the actor, but he was not able to reach him, and subtly remarked that films of his own, Voltaire Veerayya as well as Veerasimha Reddy, had in fact benefited because of the ticket rates being hyped. YSRCP, on the other hand, has called this as trouble within the NDA, that there are differences between the TDP and the Janasena in this particular case, and they have asked for an apology from the TDP MLA Balakrishna for his remark calling Jagan Mohan Reddy as a psycho. I must point out that that is a word that was used for the former Chief Minister all through the campaign by NDA leaders like Jagan Mohan, Chandrababu Naidu, Nara Lokesh as well as Pawan Kalyan. Let's listen into what Balakrishna said inside the Andhra Pradesh Assembly, and also let's listen into the reaction of YSRCP spokesperson Karthik Yellappragada.
శాసనసభ్యులు కామినేని శ్రీనివాసరావు మాడుతూ అప్పుడు అందరూ ఇండస్ట్రీ కలవడానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు సైకో గారిని చిరంజీవి గారు గట్టిగా అడిగితే అప్పుడు ఈయన వచ్చాడంది అబద్ధం.
In the assembly, our state's highest platform of democracy, TDP MLA and actor Mr. Balakrishna stooped so low in calling former Chief Minister Mr. Y. Jagan Mohan Reddy a psycho. Instead of speaking about jobs, farmers or people's issues, Balakrishna turned the assembly into a movie set for a cheap theatrics and cheap dialogues. For years, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, Mr. Lokesh, Mr. Kalyan, and now Mr. Balakrishna has run this false propaganda claiming that Mr. Y. Jagan Mohan Reddy insulted the film industry. That's not true.
Breaking news coming in from Tamil Nadu. Let's cut across to my colleague Sam Daniel. Sam, some bomb threat being reported. Tell us the details.
That's right, Uma. There's a bomb threat to the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court in Madurai in southern Tamil Nadu, after which the CISF in charge of security on the campus ordered complete evacuation. The court hearings were suspended, everyone was asked to vacate and the court was shut. And we understand the email threat was sent to the registrar by email, and police just a short while ago have, after thorough searches, have declared that particular mail to be a hoax call. In fact, the hearing has resumed now. Coincidentally, There were similar email threats sent to a few other institutions in capital Chennai as well. Police did take them seriously. Teams were sent for thorough searches, after which they too were declared hoax calls or hoax emails. And this of late has become a serious problem, particularly schools, colleges and government departments often receiving email threats or phone calls. But authorities are not taking them lightly, but they probe into every such email and calls to make sure the perpetrators are identified and booked. Political news from Tamil Nadu. The ruling DMK has denied that it is tweaking its government programs to reach out to first-time voters in Tamil Nadu ahead of the 2026 assembly elections, particularly in the context of Actor Vijay making his electoral debut, who has a huge youth following, including young first-time voters and women. In fact, the Tamil Nadu government, in a major outreach, has announced a series of programs targeting college students, particularly the 1,000 rupees monthly assistance for those pursuing higher education after studying in government colleges, besides several forms of incentives and grants for sports personnel in colleges and universities across Tamil Nadu. In fact, yesterday, there was a mega show at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in capital Chennai, what the ruling DMK calls as celebration of Tamil Nadu's achievements through government programs. They highlighted various schemes, including the skill development program for university students, which opens for them new opportunities in terms of jobs and travel abroad. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy was the chief guest, and Tamil Nadu's Industries Minister T.R.B. Raja denies that these are political measures but purely academic initiatives by the Tamil Nadu government to build on the state's strong educational foundation. This is what he had to say. Ruling DMK is focusing in terms of programs targeted towards students, first-time voters in that sense. Are you gearing up for countering the impact of Actor Vijay?
You see, I don't know why you would want to call it a first-time voter. This is not about votes, Sam. It's all about creating a new generation, making sure that next gen is prosperous. And this is among the foundation, this foundational beliefs of DMK itself. It's what Anna and Periyar and Kalaignar have taught us, and it's about giving impetus. In fact, look at this place, amazing, huge campus. Ethraj, now we're standing in Ethraj's dream when in rest of India wouldn't even let his women come out of their homes. Ethraj created such a big asset here, and now today hundreds of thousands of women have come out of this, and the Dravidian dream has been fulfilled. So our Chief Minister today is celebrating Kalviyil Siranda Tamil Nadu, which means the prosperity that Tamil Nadu has got via college, via education itself. And our strongest belief, our foundation of the Dravidian model is education itself. Because of that education, today we have what Tamil Nadu is today, with being the talent capital of India.
Not for Vijay. Not for Vijay.
It's a talent capital of India. So talent capital of India results in investments coming in, and this investments coming in this has happened over a decade. So this is the story which is at least a century old, and not for any newcomer.
The mega program last night also had some stars, including Sivakarthikeyan and directors Vetrimaran and Miskin. This comes at a time Actor Vijay is drawing huge crowds, largely young first-time voters, college students. Well, that's all from Tamil Nadu. It's over to my colleague Deepak Bopanna in Bengaluru for all the news from Karnataka. Deepak, it's over to you.
Thank you, Sam. And here in Bengaluru, of course, for the last several weeks, the civic mess, the infrastructural issues, the traffic jams, the potholes, this is what has been making news. Just a couple of days ago, the Chief Minister wrote a letter to Azim Premji requesting that, traffic should be allowed through the Wipro campus, which would help ease the congestion. It was a big no that came as a response from the Wipro chief, which has now become a topic of debate. Did the chief minister have to really ask this question in the first place? Because at the end of the day, the permissions to construct a private campus is given by the government. If they knew there was going to be, of course, a heavy influx of vehicles here, there should have been other, ways that they should have dealt with it. Or was this a last resort that the government really had to approach the, Wipro officials, and who are now saying that there are various reasons why they cannot actually allow this road to be used for, public vehicular movement. Now, we decided to hit the ground, go and see for ourselves what it is like to go around this stretch of the road, and also try and identify if cutting through the Wipro campus would actually ease the traffic here, or was it just another half-hearted measure? My colleague Ritu brings you this ground report.
This is the stretch just outside the Wipro company. Packed vehicles, honking and long queues. For thousands of commuters, this is a reality every morning and evening. Now just imagine if there was a shortcut for the public to utilize the Wipro campus to navigate through the campus roads in fact. But however, cut to reality, the Wipro founder has turned down this request of Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah. So well, the NDTV is on ground to show you how it really feels like to be stuck in this traffic outside this Wipro campus. So on my phone, it is right now 11:24 a.m. So we'll be trying to see how it really feels like to be stuck in this traffic right outside the Wipro campus to reach from gate number 1 to the last gate of Wipro. So we have reached the exit gate of the Wipro campus. So it took us almost more than 30 minutes to cover the 5 kilometers of this particular outside campus traffic and reach this particular location. But you see now what has been really said by the people is that if really one commutes from the within the campus, it would hardly take them 10 to 15 minutes to reach to the various roads, connecting areas as well. But however, you see now that the Wipro founder has also made it very clear that there is no choice at all, because they really fall under the special economic zone. They cannot allow the vehicular movements on the campus. So yes, public will have to continue to travel on these roads, the complete vehicle packed traffic itself, until and unless that the state government finds the permanent solution for this.
ಇಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಪ್ರೋ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಗೇಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು ಅವರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ತುಂಬ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಮೈನ್ ರೋಡ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ, ರಿಂಗ್ ರೋಡ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಗ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. 1 ಅವರ್ ಹೋಗೋದಾದ್ರೆ 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು.
ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇಪ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು 4 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ 1 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರಿಂದ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ವೆಹಿಕಲಿಗೆ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬೇರೆ. ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸಿಗೂ ತುಂಬ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋರು ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಗ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ವ.
Now, that's as far as the locals and their reactions and, what actually is the reality on the ground is concerned. Meanwhile, we have some breaking updates that is coming in. Politics is playing out over, the Chief Minister's letter that was written to the Wipro Chief, and the response that has come in. The BJP now is slamming the government and saying that they're out there with a begging bowl, trying to fix the problems that they have created, and they don't really have full-time solutions. They're trying to bring in temporary fixes is the charge that's coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party here, which of course have been attacking the government on various counts. They have been of course raising a lot of red flags as to how the government has been dealing with the entire infra mess. It's been a political war of words really over the last several weeks. In the latest, of course, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister have both countered the BJP and said these potholes, these infrastructural issues have been left behind by the BJP, and the mess is being solved now by the Congress party. The Deputy Chief Minister also in fact did say that in a day there are about 1,000 potholes that are being filled by the officials at the moment. Just yesterday we even saw traffic policemen fill potholes. Now the question here is, how fast can this work be done, and more importantly, how reliable is the work that is now being done actually? Because will the potholes that are being filled resurface once again? Is there going to be longevity is the question. Now, activist Rahul Ishwar joins us on the phone line. Rahul, how do you really look at urban issues like the city of Bengaluru is facing, and for the chief minister to write to a private company and say, well, give us access to a route that cuts across your campus so that it helps ease traffic on the roads? Do you think it was a viable option in the first place, and for the company to respond with a big no, how does it really fare?
Rahul Ishwar in Bangalore?
It seems like we've just we've lost Rahul Ishwar there. Meanwhile, of course, as we continue to track all the developments that are happening here in Karnataka and especially Bengaluru, now there's some breaking news coming from Kerala, where my colleague Ashwin will bring you the latest.
Well, Kerala Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar has made a very strong statement against the left government. This was done during the Kesari program at the Navaratri function, which was held in Calicut yesterday, where he lashed out against the left government, stating that the left government is pretending to be Ayyappa devotees. He went on to further question that how can the government, which had earlier created so much of trouble for Ayyappa devotees, which had condemned Guru Puja, which had condemned Bharat Mata, the same culture is suddenly giving support to Ayyappa. This is definitely something which he has also questioned. In fact, we will also play this particular video which he has spoken about, where he has lashed out against the left government with regard to this.
Those people who are in politics, they try to present themselves so innocent and try to make any jumping here and there every time. They don't require any principles. The problem here in Kerala is like this, is the same one. The people who have been opposing our culture, people who have very reservations or criticizing Guru Puja, people who are criticizing Bharat Mata, they all pretend to be Sabrimala's devotees. I don't know from where this culture has come. I don't doubt about their sanctity in their minds.
That's it from Kerala. We'll now hand over to my colleague Uma Sudhakar in Hyderabad. Uma.
Thank you, Ashwin. News coming in from Hyderabad. The big news here, over the last few weeks, we have been reporting about traffic congestions in Bengaluru city and the need for public transport system to be expanded. And that's what the Telangana government claims it is doing by trying to go in for the phase 2 of the project. And what is happening there is that L&T, which was in fact partnering or having a public-private partnership and built the Hyderabad Metro Phase 1, it is going to be exiting the project, handing over the entire stake to the Telangana government. What that means for the Telangana government is 13,000 crore rupees in debt, and they will have to pay up whatever the equity valuation that is finally agreed upon. As of now, there is an in-principle agreement, but the details of the financials not yet worked out. L&T chairperson CMD Subramaniam had asked for 5,900 crore rupees, whereas the chief minister said there would be a one-time payment of 2,100 crore rupees that would be paid to L&T as part of the equity settlement. What this will mean for Telangana, or rather Hyderabad, is that from the 69 kilometers that we had 3 lines of metro as part of the phase 1, in phase 2, the Telangana government wants to build 163 kilometers of metro lines, and for that the central government had said that there should be equity partnership with the L&T, Government of India and Government of Telangana. or they had said that there should be a definitive agreement with L&T which had built phase 1, so that there is a seamless kind of a cooperation between the phase 1 and phase 2. L&T did not agree for both of them. They said they are already suffering huge losses and are therefore now going to be quitting this project, and the government will now bring about a new entity in the public sector in order to build the phase 2 of the project, which hopefully will be also able to connect to the Hyderabad airport. So Hyderabad will have connectivity of more than 200 kilometers of the rail network, and that's the plan with the L&T exit likely to happen over the next few months with the legal and statutory compliances fully followed. Moving on now to the big movie of OG. OG is of course the latest release. They call him OG, and that refers to Pawan Kalyan, who is playing the title role. And as you can see the poster behind me, the stylish Char standing with the glass and chai in his hand, which is also a political, should I say, cross promotion, because that happens to be the election symbol of the Janasena party. But after the release since yesterday, what we have seen in theatres is of course the fan frenzy, because this is a film that has been customized to please his fans who want to see him in this kind of a yandra of a gangster, and that's what he manages with his commanding presence on the screen, playing Oja Gambhira. And of course the role of the antagonist in this particular case, Imran Hashmi, who's making a Telugu debut as well, coming in for big praise from his fans as well. Prasad Multiplex, which is one of the popular multiplexes in the city, has put out a very quirky notice saying that what they have noticed is that along with the screaming, the whistling and the frenzy of the fans, there is also a t-shirt tearing that they are seeing, and therefore they are asking people, giving them an advisory, asking them to come with an extra t-shirt or with an extra shirt, because they are making a disclaimer saying that while we give you a full cinematic experience, a great cinematic experience, we cannot guarantee that your wardrobe will be intact when you come out of the theatre. Let's also listen in to what some fans in Bengaluru had to say about the OG film release, and my colleague Ritu Rajpurohit brings us this ground report.
They call him OG movie, hits the theatre here in Bengaluru as well, and all theatres are running full as the fans are all gathering for the celebrations as well. We are right now at Mukunda Theatre in Bengaluru, where you can see the preparations are all in full swing. The big posters coming up over here, not one, two, but multiple posters. Now that's how the fans are welcoming the movie, and Pawan Kalyan also on the big screens. Remember, his fans were quite excited to see him in this particular role. Now that's the reason you have this bands on the heads of these fans as well. You see there an OG also written here. Now that's the excitement, completely electrified here in Bengaluru. The slogans are getting raised as well for Pawan Kalyan, also regarding the movie. However, we'll also try and speak to certain fans as well. Sir, Pawan Kalyan is back on big screens after a long time. How excited are you? If you remember a dialogue of his.
KCPD, that's all.
How excited are you seeing him in his role, in this particular role?
Ma'am, actually he is my deputy CM. Actually we are seeing from after 3 years. Actually we are excited to see him.
We are looking for this movie.
So we are excited to see him as an after more than 13 years.
Message that you have for your hero today. One message. What do you
He is one and only PSPK, and he is only one deputy CM.
That's all.
So we are going to be ending with a breaking news that's coming in of Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, who very often seems to have a hot and cold relationship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This time it's a jibe about the 56-inch chest, saying that there is no use of a 56-inch chest if we can't win an Olympic gold. That's a jibe that Chief Minister of Telangana is making against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying that his 56-inch chest is not able to win India a gold at the Olympic Games. That's it then on Southern View. From all of us here at the bureaus in the southern part of the country, it's a bye-bye, and lots more coming up on the other side of a very short break.